Working 9 to 5. It's a way to make a living, but putting up with a toxic workplace is not the way to do it.
Next level coaching.
Hey, I'm Jim Kelly here with Next Level Coaching, and I'm here to bring your career to the next level. So while you're here, gently hit that like button, gently hit the subscribe button. Wouldn't want to hurt your phone, but I would like to have my channel growing, so please do that to help me out. So today we're going to talk about 10 traits of a toxic workplace. Now we're going to be doing a 10 list here. This is not all inclusive. There are other traits that are out there, and they are not in any particular order. I'm just giving you 10 different traits here. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with number 10 on the list. That is bullying or harassment. This one is pretty self-explanatory. But, you know, bullying does not necessarily need to be, ridiculing somebody, you know, it, constantly. It can be calling people's mistakes out in front of everyone. It can be talking down to people. Harassment, whether it is just general harassment or sexual harassment, is a terrible, terrible thing, and not something we want to spend too much time thinking about, or else our brains go to a dark place. But these are things that should not be in the workplace. If you are seeing these things, perhaps you're in a toxic workplace. Number 9 on the list here, we are going to go with high turnover rate. Now, there are times where you are going to see high turnover rate if there is a recession and there was a lot of layoffs due to that. It's understandable. If, the entire staff had been there for 30 years and all retired at once, again, that's understandable. But if people are staying in their role for less than a year and getting out of Dodge, that might be a sign that that's not a company you want to work for. So make sure you're doing your research. Number 8 on the list here, we're going to do work-life balance and the lack thereof. So some jobs you are going to work more than 40 hours, and that is normal. Depending on where you are in the totem pole, you might be, working 50 plus hours, 60 hours, sometimes more. But if it is consistently that you are working night and day, every day for a very long time, or that you see that that's the norm when you get to a company, it might be a toxic workplace because they might not be hiring the staff they actually need to do the job. Now, sometimes you are going to get extra busy. There's going to be, clients that need things ultra fast. There are going to be regulators that come in and say, we want this, that, and the other thing. There are going to be reasons why you have to work extra hours. So this is not me saying, no, you should never work extra hours. But if it is consistently for months and months and months and months and months, that is a problem. Coming in at number 7, we have something that makes my skin crawl: micromanagement. Micromanagers are the people who are on you all of the time, trying to tell you exactly what to do at exactly what time. They do not trust their employees. They do not give them bandwidth to be able to actually properly do their jobs. They are the people who hire to chase out your good employees, honestly. So if there's micromanagement in your organization and it's not being stamped out by upper management, that might be a sign of a toxic workplace. If the tea is being spilt faster than the Boston Tea Party, that might be a problem. So if you have a gossip culture in your firm, and no, I am not talking about signing off on your emails XOXO gossip girl, because that might be a sign of a fantastic workplace. I don't know. But if you are hearing lots of gossip from day one and everyone's talking about everyone, that's likely a toxic workplace, and it might not be where you want to work. Project number 1. Let's give that to John Q. Sample. Project number 2. I think that should probably go to John Q. Sample as well. Project 3. Ooh, that one's really important. I wonder who I should give it to. Maybe John Q. Sample. Favoritism. That is a huge sign of a toxic workplace. Now, sometimes you have an employee who is the bee's knees and they are, your superstar employee. And, your manager's probably going to want to lean on them a little bit extra. But it should never be to the exclusion of the rest of the team. If only one person or two people, depending on the size of the team, are getting all of the favorable assignments, that might be a sign of favoritism, and it might not be that could be a localized toxic thing, and you might just want to move to another part of an organization, or it just might be the sign of a toxic workplace, and you might want to get out of Dodge. Next one we're going to talk about here is toxic competition. So, toxic competition is when you have all of your employees competing against each other for everything, and the people who are falling behind on those competitions are generally let go and laid off. Um, you know, there's always a bit of competition in the workplace, and we should always be trying to have the best employees. But when we're driving wedges between employees to do so, and we are not using this competition to elevate the team and bring the team together, we are trying to drive them apart. That is toxic. So John Q. Sample is the regional sales lead of XYZ Corp, and everybody else is trying to catch him. That's healthy competition. But when we're driving our employees apart and turning them against each other in a form of competition, that is not healthy. That is toxic, and that is a workplace you want to avoid. In the number 3 slot, we have frequent urgent requests. So there are very many justifiable reasons to have urgent requests. Okay, this is me not saying urgent requests are terrible and should never ever happen, because they absolutely can happen. You have a big deal that needs to be happening by end of day, and it happens at 4 o'clock. You've got an urgent request suddenly. Absolutely, that does happen. But if you are constantly getting urgent requests, and you have no rhyme or reason for these urgent requests, then this is a sign of a toxic workplace, because the management's not doing the forethought to be able to get you these tasks in a timely manner, for you to be able to complete them in a timely manner, as opposed to we're all running around with like chickens without our heads. That's not a good thing. And perhaps maybe that's something that should make you reconsider that position. Coming in at the number 2 slot is ego driven management. So this is when it is all about the senior leader, and everything that they want is super important because they want it, and they want it now. Um, this does happen in a lot of firms, unfortunately. Someone wants to have their name associated to getting something done. And because they say so is the reason. There's not necessarily a good business justification for a change. It's because they want to have the change. And sometimes this can be detrimental to the business because it is a change that makes absolutely no business sense. But that's neither here nor there. So if you are in an organization that is catering to the whims of a senior leader, as opposed to doing things that make business sense, you might be in a toxic workplace. And rounding out our list, unclear expectations. Unlike great expectations, which, classic novel, unclear expectations is a terrible thing. You don't know what is expected from you to be good at your job. You don't know of a clear, defined role. You don't have clearly defined tasks. There is constant goalpost moving. These are signs of an unhealthy workplace. You want to make sure that your role, there are procedures around it that you can point back to and go, this is my job, this is what I do. It's perfectly fine to do things that are above and beyond your job. That's actually fantastic and what you should be doing to move ahead. But you should know this is what is expected of me to do my job. This is what is expected of me to meet expectations at the end of the year so that I don't have to have an awkward conversation with my manager where I go in going, am I meets? Am I meets minus? Am I, exceeds? I don't know where I am. That's a terrible place to be and a terrible way to feel all of the time. And if that is where you are, perhaps you want to reconsider that. So, today we went over 10 different possible signs of a toxic workplace. Again, these weren't in any order, although I did put them in an order for the video because, well, I had to. Otherwise, it would make no sense. But other than that, being arbitrary, there's if you're seeing multiple of these red flags, it is a good sign that that is not a good organization to be in. And managers, if I listed off things that are happening in your workplace, be the change to fix them. You can be the change in the organization to make it a better organization. Not everyone has that authority and that ability, but you can be that person. So do it. Do it well and make your workplace a better place to be. Right? Again, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I will talk to you soon.